Some games come and go, but others leave a mark that sticks with you long after the credits roll. These are the games that define genres, push boundaries, and create unforgettable experiences. In this video, we'll explore a selection of video games that every player should experience at least once. But before we jump in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. Now let's get into it. In 2011, Skyrim was as freeing as an open-world experience could get, and every single person who played it fell in love with it. Although that type of experience has since been surpassed and the game is filled with more than a few bugs, no one can deny how enthralling it is to explore this world, which means there's still a lot of joy to be found if you have yet to play it. While the story about a world-ending dragon is fun, what really sucked us all in was the lore, the secrets, and the treasure that can be gained from delving into every cave and teat. Building your character up along the way is also incredibly rewarding. Honestly, if you didn't experience this groundbreaking shooter when it was released, it's hard to describe how breathtaking of a moment it was. Still, it's a vital piece of video game history that every player should seek out. As the now iconic Master Chief, we are all sucked into a dense sci-fi world with intriguing lore, treacherous villains, and some of the most satisfying gunplay to ever grace a console. Multiplayer was a gem too, and we're sure there are tons of players with fond memories of LAN parties. While sequels would go on to improve everything the first Halo offered, we'd still recommend taking a look at the franchise's excellent foundation, whether through an original copy or through its remaster. The video games as an art form. Conversation really took off in the early 2010s, and in the indie scene, no game better argue back than 2012's Journey. As a lone wanderer, players navigate a vast desert in an attempt to reach a distant mountaintop. Along the way, you solve puzzles and collaborate with similar figures who turned out to the other players, without anyone uttering a single word. Through stunning visuals and a Grammy-nominated score from Austin Wintory that adapted to gameplay, Journey delivered an emotional experience that got everyone talking. It's one of the most renowned indie games of all time, and it firmly proved video games were a worthy medium for storytelling. Although it was inspired by old-school RPGs like Earthbound, there's really nothing else like Undertale. The simple premise about a child who falls into an underground world of monsters goes in wildly unique directions thanks to the game's ability to adapt to how you play. It teaches that you can play as kindly or viciously as you like. Every fight comes with the option to spare a monster, often through humorous or even empathetic methods. Or you can slay everything in your path in the infamous genocide route, increasing the difficulty and the monster's hatred of you. Either way, combat is wholly original, but Undertale really shines in its characterization and incredible soundtrack. It almost seems silly to include Tetris on this list because surely you've played it before, right? Though even if you haven't, you're more than aware of its reputation. The groundbreaking puzzler is brilliant in its simplicity, which has led to its immense staying power. On release, players everywhere were enraptured by the joy of fitting different blocks together, and that's still true more than 3 decades later. It's hard to top the satisfaction you feel from narrowly escaping a loss as the wall climbs higher and higher. No matter if you're playing the OG version or one of its many refreshes, Tetris will have you glued to the screen. Not only is Chrono Trigger one of the best RPGs of all time, it's one of the best games, period. Everything about it is completely timeless, which is why fans still champion and recommend it all these years later. Traveling through different time periods to stop the end of the world is an enduring and enrapturing adventure. But as remarkable as the game is, it's also innovative. There was a greater emphasis placed on building characterization through side quests. There are a ton of different endings to reach, and there are just enough changes to standard turn-based combat to make it fresh and exciting. That's not to mention its impressive visuals and Nobuo Uematsu's enchanting score. Minecraft is such a massively popular game that chances are you've already played it at least once anyway. But if you haven't, it'd be okay if you want to pause this video to rectify that. For more than a decade now, players have been getting sucked into the creative possibilities of these blocky worlds. Although its presentation is simple, that doesn't matter when you're building, crafting, exploring, and vanquishing surprisingly tough foes when you explore too deep. Seeing what players have been able to build, whether they the impressive recreations or monuments to their own imagination, has astounded us. Thankfully, Minecraft still receives constant updates to keep the player base happy, and the inventiveness flowing. Arguably, gamers should play at least one entry in this long-running RPG series. But for us, the peak of greatness came in Generation 2. Gold and Silver included the main drawing points of the original games, cute, powerful monsters to battle with. However, it made several small changes to enhance the experience. Adding 100 new Pokémon, and great ones at that, felt incredibly exciting. New gameplay features could give you the edge in battle, new attacks and types, and your party's ability to carry items. Others were just fun inclusions, like the ability to breed Pokémon. Gold and Silver are your perfect examples on how to build the sequel and expand your fan base. You can't go wrong with the DS remake Zelda. To be completely honest, every player should play any Mario game at least once. But given our one per franchise rule, we have to go with this NES classic. With the rulers of various kingdoms transformed into animals, Mario and Luigi set out to make things right. Super Mario Bros. 3 is such a flawless platformer and a monumental step above what came before it in terms of game design. It began the trend of different themed worlds, scaling beautifully in difficulty, and included exciting new power-ups like the Tanuki Leaf and the Hammer Seed. Despite its age, it's just as fun to play today as it was on release, and every Nintendo fan owes it to themselves to seek it out. Ocarina of Time is one of the most important games ever released, so of course every gamer should experience it. Its influence on the action-adventure genre can still be seen today, yet itself still plays tremendously well. Everything from its music to its lore, from its characters to its puzzles, enchanted us that. And remarkably, they still do. Set up as a simple good versus evil story in a fantasy world, it suddenly explores the loss of childhood and innocence, as well as the sacrifice that comes from answering a higher calling. Its levels and characters, whether big or small, remain some of the most iconic in the medium. If you've never played it, you're missing out on something truly extraordinary. From the moment we descended into the watery depths and came across Rapture for the first time, we knew we had something special. With what we believe to be one of the finest FPS campaigns ever crafted, we were forced into the middle of a city at war. Around every corner were drug-crazed citizens, political machinations, and philosophical quandaries that kept us diving deeper. Rapture's lore and characters fascinated us, but the gameplay of Bioshock was also highly gratifying. At first, we felt like a lamb led to slaughter, but with upgradable weapons and a plethora of superpowering granting plasmids to unlock, we became a god among men. Utterly thrilling in every sense, Bioshock is a masterpiece in tension and world building. Firstly, if you haven't played a single Mario Kart, what have you been doing? Secondly, if that's the case, there's no better entry you could pick than the 8. First released on the Wii U, Mario Kart 8 got a new lease in life with the Switch's Deluxe version. There's a reason Nintendo hasn't released a new installment in a decade, instead updating and supporting this one. Visuals are pristine, the soundtrack is full of catchy earworm tracks, and the courses are a joy to blast through. Most importantly, those smooth as silk controls and the franchise's signature chaotic items combine for an utterly addictive gameplay hook. It's a near-perfect package and one of the best racing games of all time. The FPS genre owes an awful lot to Doom. While Wolfenstein 3D may have come first, it's the Slayer's first outing that's the more influential. Never before had we felt so powerful and vicious within a video game. And there are few games in existence that have managed to top that feeling since. Genius in its simplicity, we could spend hours running around, blasting through demonic hordes with extreme prejudice. How id Software managed to patch so much awesome into its gameplay and soundtrack still confounds us. There's a reason Doom has been ported to every platform under the sun, as well as a ton of non-gaming devices by passionate fans, because it's something everyone should experience. Rockstar's seminal take on the death of the Wild West remains one of the strongest video game narratives we've had the pleasure of experiencing. Red Dead Redemption follows John Marston, a reformed outlaw forced to hunt down members of his former gang in order to save his family. The strong story was enhanced by the game's morality system, with the world and characters adapted to how you played. Gameplay was also exhilarating across its many tense shootouts, and the world itself was engrossing thanks to Rockstar's focus on realism, making us all never want to leave. There aren't many Western games, but Red Dead Redemption, along with the 2018 prequel, is the pinnacle of the genre. You don't need to play the first Half-Life to understand why everyone was and still is obsessed with its sequel. Despite an extremely strong foundation, everything from its visuals to its gameplay to its story was such an improvement, we feel confident placing it here over the original. 20 years after the alien invasion of the first game, Dr. Gordon Freeman awakens from stasis to join the Resistance. With a new game engine and exceptional physics-based gameplay, Valve set out to redefine the first-person shooter, and every moment of Half-Life 2 is exciting. So if you've ever wondered why fans won't stop asking where Half-Life 3 is, there's no better way to learn than by trying it out for yourself. If you're looking for a game to flex your puzzle-solving muscles while experiencing a creative and often hilarious narrative, you should look no further than Portal 2. Both the single-player and multiplayer campaigns built on the incredible foundation of the first game, expanding in delightful ways. The new voice cast additions of J.K. Simmons and Stephen Merchant, as well as the return of Ellen McLean and GLaDOS, made the story fly off the screen. While playing alone, you'll uncover more dark history of Aperture. While playing with a friend, you'll find some of the best camaraderie-building brain teasers ever seen in video games. Simply put, there's no going wrong with Portal 2. With Arkham Asylum, superhero video games entered a new era. Trapped inside the infamous mental institution, Batman contended with some of Gotham's most dangerous criminals, allowed to roam free and cause chaos by the Joker. The story, characters, and atmosphere were all spot on for what players wanted from a comic book game. Combat was sleek and satisfying as we pummeled goons and Batman's wonderful rogues gallery alike. And we'd be remiss if we didn't mention Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, who reprised their respective roles as Batman and the Joker, and did so incredibly well. Many consider its sequel to be the best in the series, but Arkham Asylum still paved the way for superhero narratives in video games. There are a plethora of must-play open-world fantasy RPGs, including the groundbreaking Skyrim. However, the open fantasy world we keep returning to time and time again is that of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Although we'd starred in 2 previous games, it was here that we became enraptured with Geralt of Rivia through his profound relationship with Ciri, Vesemir, and Yennefer. The political strife of the continent compelled us, instilling a desire to play a part no matter how dastardly the other characters were. The fantastical beasts were at times imposing, and at others downright disgusting, but we loved using Geralt's variety of spells to take them down regardless. Like Mario, multiple entries in Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto series could appear here, but thanks to the engaging world, the amazing soundtrack, and the terrific characterization of its protagonist, San Andreas is a tough one to top. Upon returning home following his mother's murder, CJ is brought back into his old lifestyle and must contend with corrupt police officers and warring gangs. Rockstar took the real-life events of early 90s Los Angeles and melded them into its own narrative. It paid homage to the time period while giving us the tools to run rampant, causing mayhem, a staple of the franchise. Though it may not look it, San Andreas is still fun to play today. It's just a shame the remaster didn't do it justice. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. Part 2 may have divided the fanbase, but there's no denying how exceptional the first game is. Although the premise of a post-apocalyptic world ravaged by a virus seems done to death, Naughty Dog proved it in an entirely new direction to take it in. The tale of Joel and Ellie, 2 deep characters forced into companionship, is one that will forever be celebrated in the annals of video game history. Thought-provoking and heartbreaking, The Last of Us expertly navigates complex themes and characterization. Though the wonderful performances of Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker in the lead role deserve just as much praise as the writing. On top of being a masterclass in storytelling, it's also frequently terrifying. And that's the list. These are just some of the games that everyone should experience at least once. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment with your favorite must-play game, and hit that subscribe button for more gaming content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.